Good morning, this is Tricia with Easy Emini Trade, and I want to go over Tuesday, February 16th and point out a couple things that you might find helpful. Reminder, the webinar is February 25th at 8 p.m. and I think on this one what we'll do is we'll go over of course our favorite setup, but also picking out support and resistance and how we start our day. Like, what do we do? What do we look for? How are we picking out our congestion areas and so forth? I've been getting a lot of questions about that lately, so I think that's what we'll go over. So go to the website www.easyemintrade.com if you want more information about the setups or about the upcoming webinar. We only had one trade really yesterday, and it was on the NQ, and it was at 10. What time was that? 10:32, and you can see it right here. We get closed outside the channel, and everything's in line to take it, so we take it, and wasn't quite sure if we were going to have any issues just above us based on our overnight price action and earlier morning price action, but it worked out fine. Everything's in line to take it, so we take it. And so obviously you reached your first two targets. What I did was I took 2/3 off at plus two points, and then what I did was my final third I put just under this area, so I wound up with 4 on my final third, but I put my final target just under this area. This way, if price kind of ran into it, then I would obviously I'd get a decent target on that final third. If you were waiting to get through this area, obviously we did, but there was really no way that you would have captured any more than really that 4 on that last third, because if you were trail stopping, you would have moved your stop just under this area and been stopped out over here. So that's about as good as you could have done on that trade. On the ES, you didn't have a setup at the same time. You did get closed outside the channel here. You weren't closed outside the channel here, but you the indicator wasn't really in line until the close of this bar here. So you get this bar here closed, and you put your order in, just above that bar, a quarter above, and it doesn't trade to your entry price on the next bar, but on this bar it does. The issue is that the area of reference right above you only gives you a point's worth of room, so you wouldn't be shooting for a whole lot. We were already long in this trade here. You can see, looking at the crosshair, here's where we're in on the NQ, and you didn't have a setup on the ES until here. So we were already almost out of this trade here when you finally got the setup on the ES. So it worked out fine. The rest of the day, pretty much all you could have done was maybe a couple really small range trades. There wasn't a whole lot that you could really do the rest of the day. So I hope that helps. I do want to point out a couple things. What did I want to point out? You could have taken this during lunch and it would have worked out fine. You would have held your breath for a little while, but you were above the area of reference, and this area above us here is 1800, and wasn't quite sure how price would react to that area, but knowing what is above you, you did have room to take it. So again, it worked out for a little bit, not a whole heck of a lot, but if you took it, it worked out. And a little later on the ES, you did have a setup as well. Again, you got a little something out of it, and it is during lunch. So if you're trading during lunch, fine. If you're not, don't worry about it. You're not, some days you miss something, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to have other opportunities. And there was this setup here at just about 3 o'clock. And the issue on this is, yes, you get closed outside the channel, and your indicator's above 20. Again, not quite sure what to expect from this 1800 area, but the issue is that on this bar, if you were to put your order in just above it, right as this bar was forming, you got an extreme tick reading of 1,000 or just about 1,000. So usually you're going to have to sit through a pullback. So typically, if we're not in something when we get a tick extreme, then we'll wait for the pullback and then look for the next opportunity. So this would not have been something that we were interested in. And like I said, most of the day was just pretty much sideways. You did get a setup here, but again, going right into that 1800 area. 1800 held for a little while, and again, this is late in the day, so if you're trading late in the day, fine, but not something that I would be interested in, but it worked out for a little bit. So I hope that helps. And if you'd like more information on the setups, you can go to www.easyminitrade.com.